Hello there guys, it's me Unstable Voltage and welcome back to episode 13 of Europa Universalis IV as Vijayanagar. And we have an option to join another war, which might work out for us. We're going to go ahead and accept anyway, because we do need to get involved with this. What we're also going to do is continue to suck up to some of my neighbours and allies, which I haven't been doing for quite a while. So let's go and make sure that we are doing that. We've got no manpower at all, but we are making some money. I'm just going to go ahead and hire a single mercenary infantry, because I want to siege these provinces out and throw them over to Andra, and hopefully we can start to feed them. Now I do have an army over here. Unfortunately this army is getting a little bit stuck in some of Arissa's provinces, because a lot of provinces that were sieged that we could walk through, including some that were forts, actually became unsieged in a peace deal when somebody else peaced out, and that caused a few problems. Let's try and make sure that we repay these loans where we can. And let's go and make sure that we move in with our mercenary here. We're very, very short on manpower, which is a really big problem at the moment. So we're 21,000 men down. We have quite a big stack here. If I detach a siege, can I go and attack you guys? Probably. Not too sure how well that'll work out, but we'll give it a go. So we'll move across here. We did unfortunately take a terrain penalty there. They are actually now reinforcing. That's fine. I'm moving with the entire stack then. So we'll all move in there and make sure that we do that. I really want to try and take their capital down, but we need to make sure that we get rid of their army. I can't be dealing with that later on. If I can get them to separate peace out and just grab one or two provinces and feed them over to my vassal, I will be happy. So let's move you over there. So we can already go and give this to Andra. Just hoping they'd be willing to accept it. We should win that battle without too much of a problem. Let's get all these guys in this province. We'll group them all up and we'll go back to the capital. So we've got some of our allies coming in, which is good. We've still got 100% siege on Bermanis. There are other people involved. You see, Jean-Paul's got quite a big army up there that looks like they're going after Malwa, but I think we'll be okay with that. What I really want to do here is try and get a separate peace with Arissa, and we are going to need to take out another fort or two. Unfortunately, we can't go and stack wipe them because we are stuck behind these two forts here, which is a little bit of a problem. I can't really blockade them because they have a few lights there that I'd sooner avoid having to deal with. While I've got this mercenary here, let's just go and use him to grab some of these provinces that don't have forts. Now let's just go and have a quick word with Arissa and see if they would be willing to peace out. At the moment, they wouldn't at all. They're only on -1 though, but what would happen if we wanted to grab those? That's 44 war score. That's quite significant. We've actually got the opportunity to catch their army again here. Now, our mercenary ran into them, so unfortunately we did get the terrain penalty, but we are now there with... Oh, they got a very, very good roll there. But we are there with our general. They did manage to reinforce slightly. I don't think it's going to be enough for them. Well, we've taken such massive losses on our army here. That's them wiped out again. Let's just go and take the biggest stack. We'll leave the mercenary there. He will reinforce eventually, but we definitely need to try and get this capital as quick as possible. Right, okay. Now we've got a massive stack coming in from Arissa. So, as much as I'd love to grab this stuff and feed it to my... That's not Arissa, that's Jean-Paul, most of it. So, I think what we're going to have to do here is get out of here. Let's go and finish this war. So, can we get what we want? Yes, we can. Could we get more from you? Probably. You'd actually be willing to give me even more provinces. Baglana. We are going to want a lot of this stuff ultimately. 75% peace deal. What if we wanted you to... We could give up a little bit more and go for a humiliate instead, probably. Would be nice to get the power projection. We are taking land from them, so it doesn't really matter too much. What if we wanted you to break your alliance with these guys? You are on -35. Yeah, that's not going to happen. That is unfortunate. But I think we're going to be able to take enough stuff there. So I'm going to go ahead and send that demand. And then that's fine. This is a different war. But I want these guys to try and get... Right, you can't get out of there. What about you? You can get out of there, so that's what you should be doing. So we're going to lose a mercenary. We're going to sacrifice a merc. That is fine. We are going to core all of these provinces. That's fine. That's going to cause us some corruption. We can take a military idea. Now, in terms of tech, we are behind time again. So that's fine. Let's get these guys home. Now, I don't think we have anything coastal to worry about. So let's go ahead and take our lights and get them out doing some trade so we can get some money back. Yeah, I've got a feeling he's going to sort of try and come down for my army. So Bermanis is no longer a valid rival. Interesting. I want to try and get my army down here behind my forts if I can. And you guys are going to group up, and you no longer need to go home at war. You're protecting trade in Ceylon, so that is fine. So let's go up in speed a little bit. It does look like Jampur's army are heading back in the other direction. So I did get some provinces. I didn't get quite as much as I wanted, but the most important thing from the back of that war is to try and get out of debt. We can afford to repay some loans. We only have 3 loans left, though. So we're not doing too bad. We only have 3 loans left. We'll probably reduce some inflation later on. We've got a looming disaster here. Potential for civil war. Now, why is this? It's because our overextension is at least 10%. We will be getting rid of the overextension, so I don't think that's going to be a huge problem. And I'm sorry, Malwar, but I'm not really coming to help you because, in fact, I actually want you to be a little bit weaker. I'm going to have to take some stuff from you myself at some point. We now have a costly trade embargo with Bermanis. That is fine then. We will revoke that embargo. So at the moment, we don't actually have any rivals. We can... that's Bermanis. Yeah, we can pick a rival. We don't actually have... Oh, we're at war. And we don't have any enemies. Which is interesting. Looks like Malwar's starting to actually reassemble a little bit of an army here. They might actually be able to do something. Now, who are we still at war with? Yeah, we're not at war with Orissa anymore now. It really is just Jampur. So, I'm quite happy to let Malwar mostly deal with that. And I'm just going to try and recuperate my army. So corruption is growing. It's probably not growing particularly high. By 0.15 every year. And again, that's mostly due to the overextension. Now, how much money are we making? We're actually making decent bank now. Let's go ahead and get some advisors. Reinforcement speed could be useful. Get a rank 1 guy. We might as well get a military guy. Mostly because we are... we have a military idea group. So we want to try and get as many points there as possible. We also want to try and stay ahead in terms of admin. Inflation reduction is going to be very, very useful for us. So let's go ahead and get that guy. And we can probably afford a Diplo 1 as well. Let's go ahead and get the trade efficiency. So there we go. So we're still in negative manpower. But we're at war, we're making money, and we're reinforcing as well. I mean, obviously, as we start to get manpower back, some of these reinforcements are going to take longer. Let's go ahead and split this group in half and just sort of move them into 2 separate provinces. I just want to try and make sure that they are all balanced out. So we could go ahead and get this yearly army tradition. I really want to. We've lost a military leader as well, which is very unfortunate. And what then we get then? Cavalry combat ability. Let's go and start taking some of these ideas, even though we are a little bit behind in the tech. The earlier we start with that yearly army tradition, the more tradition we'll have by the next war. And also, when we get our third idea, we'll get an extra 10% global trade power. So that's going to be useful for us as well. So even with 3 advisors and at war, we're still making 10 ducats a month. I could reduce my army maintenance down. It's not like we can reinforce at full speed anyway. So let's go ahead and take the army maintenance down a little bit. And we're reducing inflation as well. So it's giving me warnings about that. Lose 50 admin power, right, Nyax. Let's go have a quick look at those. The Nyax are at 50%. I don't really want to give them all of my money for 10 loyalty, because what am I going to do with that? Not really an awful lot. So I think what we'll do is we'll just deny aid. We'll lose some admin power, which is unfortunate, but you do what you got to do sometimes. So what have we got down here? We have 3 cavalry. We don't need 3 cavalry. Let's go ahead and get rid of one of the cavalry there. That's 1 less unit to reinforce. So we've got 12, 2 and 1, and this is 13, 2 and 1. We are right on our army force limit there, so I think I might just leave it as that. Right, okay, quick pause, because we've got Jean-Paul trying to move down here. Not too sure if they're thinking about coming for me. Let's just go ahead and make sure we've got the army maintenance up. I'm leaving the forts on, because I'm trying to hide behind them. So if they do decide to start bringing anybody down this way, I want to be able to avoid them. Looks like they're just sort of heading... No, they are coming down this way, actually. So let's go ahead and put all of our guys together. We are going to need to get a military leader. Our ruler's not great. Let's hire one and see what we get. That is actually really good. A 5 shock general. Cheers. That'll do. So we are in the hills. Is he going to come and attack me? No, he isn't. Now, I'm not at full... Oh, you're moving into Vijayanagar, are you? That's awesome. Okay, so calls are being done. This is in Drylands. No real point in waiting, I don't think. Let's just go ahead and make sure we shift consolidate, just so that we've got full front lines going in here. We do have the better general. So we should do quite well in this battle. And obviously I didn't want to lose more manpower, but at the same time, I can't have them sieging out my capital. We also can't have them sieging out that province over there, so let's go ahead and... well, they're going to get it anyway, but at least we can kill them and take it back. So how's Mal? Mal was getting very, very sieged out up there. So I'll siege that out and I'll bring them back down and split them up again, and we'll have to wait even longer for them to recover their numbers. But at least we're getting out of debt. That's the important thing. They are they're suiciding some more units, guys. Unfortunately, it is hurting me, but... Well, they rolled a 9. But still, with a 5-shot general... We're absolutely just owning face there. So let's get back down here out of the way. I still want to try and keep my maintenance down when I can afford to keep my maintenance down. I just need to make sure I really keep my eyes open in case they try and do that again, which they may. So let's just split those guys up. It's so good now to have a really, really good general. There's a lot of people involved in this war, it would appear. Yeah, Mal was actually fighting against Nepal. So am I fighting against Nepal? No, Mal was actually in 2 different wars then. So yeah, Mal was going to get wrecked in this battle, I think. Bamanis Peasants War once again. Now then. Yeah, Bamanis have peasants. That's not my problem. My looming disaster. How is that doing? Overextension is at least 10%. What is our overextension? 31%. I mean, we are working on that. So we should be okay. We should get rid of that. They're going to be finished in June 02. So we've got just over a year. Do need to keep my eye on it. Corruption is still going up. It's going up less than it was. As soon as that overextension goes away, it will be fine. And let's just have a quick look at the states and territories here. So we've got a couple of provinces here that are all in... We should have took Bidar, actually, because at least that was in a state. We did take this one. Is that Gulbarga? Gulbarga was in a state, so that was making us a little bit more money. There's not a lot of point turning Desh and Golconda into states right now, because we only have the one province from each of them. So we will wait until we have the opportunity to take a little bit more stuff. I'm actually hoping Mal will peace out of this war. Like I said, I don't want Jainpur to grow, but I think we've sort of recovered a little bit now. We've got to a point where we've been able to take some more land. Bermanis has now announced us as their rival. Interesting. But they were no longer a valid rival for us before, and now you're telling me that they are, which is a little bit weird. So I'm not really going to separate peace out here, because I don't actually want anything, but we shouldn't lose anything in this war. Still making 12 ducats, even with 3 advisors, and we're reinforcing very slowly. Still 21,000 manpower down. Which, you know, is not as bad as it could be. But we do need that looming disaster to go away. One of the following can be stopped by have legitimacy at least 75, have a regency council. It's going to be difficult to stop that. So we've got a lot of national unrest, mainly caused by the war exhaustion and the overextension. Let's recall that diplomat. Now then, what is our war exhaustion? Can we buy that down? Diplo. I guess let's go ahead and just buy the war exhaustion down just to slow everything down. Now then, what do we want to do here? We can spend some ducats to gain base tax in a couple of provinces, and the merchant guilds gains 10 influence, or we can have a load of local unrest everywhere. Yeah, I think we'll just spend the ducats actually. Let's just have a quick look at things with the estates at the moment. Could get some admin power. I don't think we really need to worry about any of these. We will have a few loans being redone, but there's not an awful lot we can do about that. We could lose 10 loyalty from the merchants by asking them for some money. It's 84 ducats. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Why not? And we might even be able to repay off another loan. So let's repay a loan. And we now have... We've got one loan. We're down to one loan. So we've managed to take some more land from Bermanis. We are down to one loan. Our army's still very sickly at the moment because of the severe lack of manpower. I'm looking at sailors there. I was going to say, why am I only gaining 30 a month? Because I'm looking at sailors. Still only gaining 235 a month. 234 a month, which is not ideal. And I'm not liking the sound of that disaster. Monthly progress is due to our overextension being at least... If we can get rid of that overextension, it's going to slow it right down, or it should at least stop it. So when is that overextension going to go away? It should be gone away in a month or two. Still can't see Jainpur moving anyone else towards me. Let's go ahead and continue to build a spy network in Bermanis, because we haven't really been doing that for a while. We can gain an extra merchant for 5 years... Or we can gain national tax modifier. I don't like messing around with merchants, as you guys know, so let's go for the tax modifier. It looks like Malwar actually managed to get a siege on one of Jaipur's forts there. And Malwar are actually starting to unsiege some of their own stuff. It looks like, that's down to one war. Yeah, it looks like they're just in the war with Jainpur now, so they probably have a better chance of turning this around. There we go. We have managed to core those last 2 provinces, which means we are now no longer in looming disaster. This is good. This is working out very, very good. Now then, we also have adjacency to these guys who have no allies. They're improving relations with us. Would they be willing to be vassalized? No, but we could go ahead and attack you. So let's go ahead and start building a spy network on them. And potentially here we've got 3 provinces that we might be able to grab. Three coastal provinces. So that seems like it could be a plan. Now I could start building some buildings. Manpower modifier. Definitely something that we need to consider, because we don't have a lot of manpower. It's going to be one of our biggest problems in this campaign. There's a few places that would give us 500 additional manpower. So we'll definitely start getting some of these. I do want to get out of debt, but at the same time we need to be able to fight for ourselves. We need to be able to raise an army. So yeah, we should be able to grab these provinces, especially if they stay without any allies. They're actually being guaranteed by Bermanis. That actually works out quite well for me, because that means I can fight Bermanis again without actually needing a without waiting for the truce to expire. Rebel uprising, which is going to be sort of up here, I suppose. Let's go ahead and get these guys together and put the army maintenance up, because I'm sure we're going to be dealing with some unpleasant rebellions quite soon. So I'll probably just go and have somebody standing up, maybe in the hills or the highlands. Let's group together. Let's go and stand up here. We'll deal with them if and when they spawn. But yeah, we'll try and fabricate some claims over here. Go to war with these guys. And, I mean, Bermanis are getting their arse kicked by peasants at the moment anyway. So I think that is definitely going to be a plan for the next war. So thanks a lot for watching, guys. I hope you are still enjoying EU4 as Vijayanagar. And I'll see you on the next video. Until then, goodbye for now.